You say you are morally obligated to do remarkable things.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, I think partly because life is so difficult and challenging that unless you give it everything you have, the chances are very high that it will embitter you, and then you'll be a force for darkness and not good. You know, the fact that life is short and can be brutal can terrify you into hiding and avoiding, but it can also, you can flip that on its head and understand that since you're all in anyways, you might as well take the risks that are adventurous. And that's a very good thing to understand. And what is also useful to understand in that manner is that there isn't anything more adventurous than the truth. This is something that took me a long time to figure out. Well, you can craft your words to get what you want, you know, and people do that all the time. They craft their words so they can avoid taking responsibility for things they should take responsibility for, or they can craft their words to gain an advantage that they really don't deserve. That's what you do when you manipulate. And the problem with that, you might say, well, why not do that if I can get what I want? And the answer to that is, you aren't necessarily the best judge of what you need. And it's easy to be deluded in what you want. And that's the sort of delusions that people chase if they chase power. If you decide instead that you're going to just say what you believe to be true, you have to let go of the consequences. And you might think, well, I don't want to let go of the consequences because I want to control what's going on. But what you miss then is adventure, because if you don't control what's going on, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. And maybe that's exciting. And actually, there's no doubt about it. And then you have the additional advantage if you're attempting to say what you believe to be true and attempting to act in the manner that you think is most appropriate. That's genuinely you, and you have the force of reality behind you. Obviously, that's what you have if you're trying to, say, live in the truth, is you have the force of reality behind you. That seems like a good deal. Then you have the reality and the adventure. So why is that a moral obligation? Well, if you hide and you don't let what's inside of you out, and you don't bring into the world what you could bring, and you become cynical and bitter, you will start doing very dark things. So you'll start, not only will you not add to the world what you could add, but you'll start being jealous of people who are competent and doing well and work to destroy them. So that's the pathway to hell.
There's no shortcut. There's no hack. There is no other way around it. You must absolutely, unapologetically be obsessed with the process. Not the rewards, not the recognition, the process. Because we live in a world that worships the end result. Social media shows you the wins, the degrees, the job offers, the celebrations. But what it doesn't show you is the 4 a.m. grind, the anxiety before an exam, the frustration when nothing makes sense and you're questioning your entire ability. Let me be crystal clear. There is no easy route. If there was, everybody would take it. But that's not who you are. You're built different. So from the moment your alarm clock goes off, not just Monday morning, not just when you're in the mood, every single day, your mindset has to be, I woke up. So come hell or high water, I am going to win this day. Winning your thoughts, winning your schedule, and bringing that winner's mentality with you into the classroom, into the library, into every conversation, every challenge. You were not born for mediocrity. Failure is not in your DNA. But listen, there will be bad days. Let's not pretend it's gonna be easy. There will be days where your brain feels like it's running in circles. There will be days when you stare at your notes and think, I don't get it. But what you will never do is tap out. It's wave the white flag and say, maybe this just isn't for me. So while they scroll, you study. While they party, you grind. While they quit, you go harder. This race isn't about how fast they're moving. It's about how focused you stay. And this race, this journey, is won by those who can separate themselves from the distractions, the drama, the excuses. So I need you to lock in. Today, right now, this moment, let that fire rise, let that purpose burn, and let the world feel the power of someone who decided that average is not an option. What if, after all the hard work, all the blood, all the sweat, all the tears, you still fail? Let me tell you something. You did not fail. You learned. And that lesson is worth more than gold, because life will hit you when you least expect it. You'll get knocked down. You'll question everything. But you must look in the mirror and say, because of this setback, I'm stronger. Because of this pain, I'm wiser. Because of this moment, I'm better. Because you have something that many people will never tap into. Potential. Massive potential. Unstoppable potential. But listen, don't you get it? Potential is just unrealized greatness. It doesn't mean anything if you don't put it to work. You're not the first person to feel like they don't measure up. You're not the first person to wonder if you're smart enough. You're not the first person to cry in frustration, to want to give up, to feel overwhelmed. But the people that push through, they're the ones who rise. They're the ones who graduate at the top. They're the ones who go on to build businesses and change lives. If you settle for just passing, you're robbing yourself. No, because that's not you. What you will do is walk right up to your professor, your TA, your mentor, and say, I want to win in this class. I want to grow, but I need help. I need clarity. And I'm here for it. I'm here for whatever you can teach me, but I need your help. Because passion and persistence, that's a language that every great teacher understands. They'll meet you halfway, but only if you show you're serious about crossing that finish line. That anxiety, it's not your master. That confusion, it's temporary. That pressure, it's not here to crush you. It's here to shape you. It's here to mold you. You were born with everything you need to win already inside of you. You already have what it takes, not just to pass, but to excel. You're not broken, you're building. You were born to be spectacular, born for impact, born for legacy. So leap over the obstacles, crawl if you must, run if you can, but whatever you do, do not stop. Because that volcano of potential inside of you, it's not dead, it's not gone, it's waiting for your permission to erupt. So go be powerful. Go be relentless. Go be great. This is your moment. I just need you to own it.
Like, life can be hard, life can be rough, but there's something special and there's something powerful about the human mind and about the human spirit and about the human will when you tell yourself, I won't give up, I won't surrender, I won't quit. I'm gonna show up every single day and do the best that I can.
Once you enter into a situation with the right mindset, once you enter into a situation and understand that it's first about self-belief and a commitment to your purpose, if you're driven towards what you're supposed to do, first and foremost, before you operate in that environment, you're already a success.
And a lot of y'all scared. Just walk into it. Stop running from it because your life ain't sweet. Since you've been running, it ain't like your life's sweet from running. Listen to me very closely. Y'all running from obstacles when in fact it's the obstacle that's gonna take you to the next level.
Give yourself the opportunity to continue on your path. Don't see failure as a stopping point. See failure as a part of your process. You're still in motion.
The biggest concern I have for you is that you think you did something wrong and now you're behind.
That's how I feel.
I know, which is why you're in trouble. The answer is you're not gonna find nothing if you're still dwelling on what got you to this spot. If you actually said, oh shit, I'm 25, I can do for 5 years, I'll be a cook for 6 months, I'll be an architect for 6 months, I'll start a sneaker brand for 6 months. If you did that and realize at 30, after 5 years of that, you're still young as fuck, then you win. If you're like, fuck, I grew up, I was good at school, I was doing this, and fuck, you lost.
Are you ready to take the next step? Are you ready to start the new chapter? Are you ready? Are you ready? You're not waiting for the perfect time. You're gonna make it the perfect time. You don't need a perfect class for you to do what you gotta do. You don't need the perfect teacher for you to succeed. You don't need the perfect classmates for you to overcome. You don't need to be in the perfect setting. Nah, even when it's not perfect, you're gonna make it. Why? Because you're fueled on the inside.
You deserve to see what your life would look like if you gave 120%. You've been living 70%, 80%, we've been talking about it. And you're looking at the results, the outcome, right? You reap what you sow. You're looking at the outcome of somebody giving 70%. Like everything you have, everything you are, everything you're doing, like it's 78. And what I need you to do is I need you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, come on, quit, stop playing. I deserve to see what my life would look like if I gave 120%.
It's about the way in which you operate. And when you start to try to define your purpose, I'm not someone to say that I found it yet, but what I'm understanding is it's a process of becoming. You have to put yourself in situations where you fail over and over again. There are processes that allow you to grow, develop, mature. The next time you see failure, define failure as your teacher. The next time you see adversity, define adversity as your advantage. The next time you see an obstacle, define your obstacle as an opportunity. The next time you see loss, define your loss as a lesson. Put those things together and understand that you have the ingredients for your success. I think oftentimes we try to step into situations and we have doubt, failure, and fear on our minds, and we wonder why the situation doesn't go the way in which it was supposed to go. Right? Like you step into a situation and you're hesitant, you're 50-50 on why it is you're going to where you're supposed to go, and then you wonder why you don't get the result you're supposed to get when you stepped in with cloud.
Man, I feel like I've been pushed down in the dirt. I feel like people have been stomping on me. I feel like stuff has been raining on me, but you didn't realize this, my young friends, you was just a seed. So you gotta tell yourself, no, I haven't been pushed down in the dirt and I haven't been stomped on, I've been planted and I've been placed in this pot for a reason, and we are at this arena here to be able to have a conversation to say, what does it look like to go to that next level?
Maybe the beginning of your story was rough, but I got good news for you. There's another chapter, and the next chapter is gonna be your best chapter, because the next chapter, you're getting ready to write something new. The next chapter, it will say happily ever after. Your next chapter is gonna be better than your last chapter, because it's not about how you start.
There is no destination. When we talk about goals, we're talking about goal setting, because you should be focused on the person you're becoming and not the result. The only block for you is you. You've been looking for a word. You've been looking for a person. You've been looking for someone to call you. You've been looking for someone to point you. You've been looking for someone to actually ascend. That is not the case. It's on you and you alone. And if we all operate with that type of purpose, it doesn't matter what you do. If we all operate with that purpose, when you step into a building, I don't care what it is that you do, if you do it with the type of passion and zeal and enthusiasm that allows people to know that you have a mission statement with how you move, you leave your mark on the world.
And I promise you, every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through, and it's the lonely chapter.
There comes a time when the hard work you have to do is learning that you can't work any harder any longer, and that you have to change what got you here to what will get you to where you want to go.
Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you out there practicing in the hot sun when ain't nobody else out there? Because I'm trying to get it.
I don't want to do it alone, but I need to.
It's a gamble. Yeah, I know that. But look, if there was a time to roll the dice, this is it.
A lot of people's problem is like, they don't know how to be by themselves, bro. Like, you gotta learn how to be by yourself. You gotta learn how to be alone, bro.
Nobody wants to disappear for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and eliminate all distractions and get into a place where you can focus on just you. What if you could just shut out every distraction? What if you could just shut out the world for just a season and focus on you?
So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself. And that's what you need to really research is, why am I not doing this for myself? Because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself. So that's the only purpose I can need.
I built this, me, brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another talk.
Stop telling everybody what you're gonna do. Stop telling everybody what your next move is, and just disappear and do the work that is required.
I was hopelessly alone and bullied when I was in school. I was the most unpopular kid throughout all of school. I was an only child, very socially awkward, and you would not have picked me as being anybody that would have become even slightly competent in life, let alone being in relationships and being happy and so on and so forth. You do not know the path that your life is going to take you down over the longer term. You do not know how you are going to grow up, the way that you're going to look, the way that you're going to become competent or confident or any of these different things. Yes, there are some challenges that you're going to face, but what do you want to do? Do you want to roll over and just allow the world to continue to kick you in the teeth? The pessimist is always going to be able to prove himself right.
Because like in The Matrix, when Neo's about to go take the red pill and he wants to get out of the car, Neo, you've been down that road and you know exactly where it leads. And I know that's not where you want to be. You could go back, but then you'd have to remember exactly what the reason was that you decided not to go out to begin with, just because you listen to this podcast and you consume this content, and you're like, I can do more than this. And you start to see the person that you could be. And you're like, this does start to feel like hell. So the very fact that it's difficult is why it is worth doing. And so like, we can't resent the price tag of the shoes that we want to buy. We just have to make the decision of whether or not we want to pay it.
Everything in my life breathes and eats this purpose that I have. I gotta make it personal. It starts with me. When it starts with me, it ends with me.
But there are many people out there who did make it, and they're making it today. And the reason that they're making it is because they had just enough faith in who they are inside. And they did not allow anyone to come in between their faith and their possibilities. No man or woman can put you down unless you allow it. So if you are alone right now, if you're sitting in a quiet place right now, have that moment to yourself. Give your life some deep thought and process it. and then attack.
And I'm not coming at y'all on any other level but keeping it real. The life that I live, I deserve this life because I worked my ass off to get it. Y'all out here running around on the brink of destruction, and it's all self-inflicted, trying to live up to the hype. You still got work to do. Stay on that basketball court, stay on that football field. All the homies texting and calling and trying to make you feel bad about being so focused. It's grind season, homie. It's not about today, it's about the future.
I know there's a whole bunch of people with that right there. That fires me up. That brings joy to my life right there.
Why?
Because I know there's so many people that have the ability and just refuse to get off that couch. Refuse to study a few more hours. Refuse to go deeper, to go further. And that's where I gain the advantage.
What truly, truly matters in life is your time is being captured and your attention is being captured by a thought that could have been gotten rid of had you have just done it. Had you have just had the conversation, broken up with the relationship, left the job, told the father, whatever it is that you needed to do. All of that anxiety cost could have been gotten rid of had you just gone and done it.
You can move through life at 7 times the rate of other people by simply changing when you say you're going to make a decision from end of week to end of day. So think about how that stacks up. So it's like, let's say that there were 4 decisions that you needed to make. If the normal person takes a week to make the decision, and then their mind moves on to the next thing that they have anxiety for, and start making that decision and decide another week, decide another week, decide another week. It's a month to make those 4 decisions. Whereas the Superman that takes 1 decision day 1, second decision day 2, third decision day 3, fourth decision day 4, they aren't even finished the week yet, and they're where the other person is at the end of the month. And like, that speed of decision making, like not paying the attention cost, the opportunity cost of your time, I think it's really profound in terms of how quickly people move through life, in terms of achieving the goals that they set out.
If you go on the airplane, every time you've ever got on the airplane and they've said, in case of emergency, if the plane is about to go down, they say put the mask on yourself first before you try and help anyone else, including your own kids. That means that you can only take care of everybody else if you make it more of a point to take care of yourself. It is time to be more selfish. Tell them, sorry, something came up, I've made other plans. I'm gonna go do something for me.
It doesn't start with them and they. It starts with me. It starts with me.
There's a cool insight that the more you complain, the less accurate your model of reality. So complaining is you saying, the world isn't delivering to me that which I anticipated or expected or desired from it, which is also you saying, I don't understand how the world works until it comes and meets me in reality.
There's 3 primary things that everyone casts all their pain and suffering to, which is you have circumstances, you have other people, and then you have self, and that's it. Those are the three big ones that everyone puts all of their blame on. And so the first 2 obviously don't serve you. The third sometimes serves you depending on what you do as a result of it, right? And so that actually, those big 3 has just been a really easy filter. It's like, oh, am I blaming circumstances? Am I blaming other people? Am I blaming me? And obviously you want to skip to you because that's the only thing you can do anything about.
Wouldn't do that. No, ain't no friendly faces out there. Only your just desserts. Who are you? I guess the better question is, what have I become?
The ultimate ideal is also the ultimate judge, because the ultimate ideal is something against which you fall far short. And that might be so painful that you can barely stand it. But then what you do is 2 things, I suppose, is you lower the ideal and you raise your estimation of your potential. And what do I mean by lower the ideal? Well, if you're comparing yourself to someone or even to a future self, and the gap is so painful that it paralyzes you, then you've created a dragon that you don't have the tools to master. And so what you have to do is you have to scale the dragon down to size. And you want to scale the dragon down to size until it's a size that you are willing to move toward, however small that is. Now, you know, if you're here and your ideal is here and that gap is unbearable, then you reduce the gap, because you're not going to move from where you are to perfect in one fell swoop. There's going to be incremental steps. So you have to fill in that hierarchy of progression with a high enough resolution representation so that you can start to move forward. And then you should be buttressed. There's another gospel comment that's very interesting. It has to do, it's called the Matthew principle. And the Matthew principle is, to those who have everything, more will be given, and from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. Now, it's brutal because it implies that reality works like this. When you're moving up, you go like this, right? And that's pretty nice. That's a lot better than this. But when you're going down, you go like that, right? It's like downhill, downhill, cliff. Okay. So you want to avoid the downhill path. Well, if the uphill path is like this, which is like exponential, let's say, or geometric, then what that means is that it doesn't matter how big the first steps you take uphill are, even if they're trivial, even if they're shameful in their size, because you're so useless, that if you're disciplined in that, you'll speed up extraordinarily rapidly. And so that's the good news, you might say, is that you can take very small steps, even ones that might be shameful in their size, and you have to admit that to yourself. But once you get the ball rolling, it doesn't roll in a linear fashion, it rolls in a geometric fashion. And this is a really good thing to know, because it can take the sting out of the realization of your own stupidity. It's like, yeah, you know, everybody has their weak sides, let's say, things they're embarrassed about. When I first started going to the gym, I was like, how old was I? 1985, 23. And I think I weighed 135 pounds and I was 6'1", very, very thin. And I smoked like mad and I drank too much. Like, I wasn't in good shape. The first attempts forward I took in the gym, I went to this swimmercise class. It was me and this like really fat guy, young guy, probably not in any worse shape than me, and like 7 old women, over 70, and they could outswim me. Like, it was pretty damn humiliating. And so I did a semester of that and got myself in somewhat better shape. And then I started to go to the gym to work out, to lift weights. And that was also rough because, you know, I'd be underneath the bloody bench press trying to lift 75 pounds off the rests. And, you know, some muscle-headed bastard would come over and tell me how to do it. And it's like, yeah, thank you. But, you know, it's embarrassing. And lots of times people won't do things like go to the gym because they're so embarrassed about how they look or what sort of shape they're in. And it's a pain to start at the bottom. But you start at the bottom where you're weak. And if you want to rectify what's weak, you have to accept the fact that you're at the bottom and that the first steps are going to be painful. You know, it took me about 3 years, but I stopped smoking and then I stopped drinking and I gained 40 pounds of muscle in like 3.5 years, something like that. I got a lot more physically confident and a lot more coordinated, because working out with dumbbells makes you coordinated, right? Because it exercises all the small ligaments and the tendons. And so my lower body in particular got a lot more coordinated. Then I could dance, so that was better when I was going out dancing, because I did a lot of that in graduate school. But the point of all this is, if you're going to rectify your weaknesses, you have to admit your insufficiency to your own shame. Now, if the gap between you and your ideal is so great that it paralyzes you, you shrink that, right?
One of the things I've been talking about in the live shows is your comparison group is incorrect. The fact that, you know, we have the opportunity to sit down and listen to anybody on the planet, right? The best minds, the best athletes, the best thinkers, the most articulate that are alive right now, or listen to the people that have died that were around when video cameras existed. And you can compare yourself to that group.
Yeah.
But that's not your comparison group. If you have the impetus to sit down and listen to me and you waffle on for 3 hours about these deep topics, these interesting ideas, you are so already selected out of the normal group. You're already asking yourself questions that
The right questions.
almost nobody else is, right? But because your comparison group are people that are unbelievably high performing, is that really who you're going to compare yourself to? And it's unfair. And the problem that I see is people who have big dreams for themselves and want to do great things, they like to set their sights high, and yet they feel despondent in the comparison.
Yeah.
So I think
there's a pride in that too, eh?
I can be, I want to be.
Well, or that's who I should be comparing myself to, right? That's the pride. And the pride is something like, I should be that, or even I could be that. It's like, well, maybe you could, but you're certainly not going to do it, as you already pointed out, without the apprenticeship, right? So you could say that the despondency is actually is in proportion to the false pride. Now, I wrote a chapter in, I think, my first book, which was compare yourself to who you are today, not to who someone else is. Sorry, I mangled that to some degree, but you get the point. The proper comparison group for you is you yesterday. Because you can make, first of all, you're the only control group that's appropriate to you. Because you have a certain set of talents and possibilities and limitations and tragedies that are truly unique to you. And so you might be comparing yourself to someone else on some dimension, but it's not a reasonable comparison because you don't know what talents they were blessed with, and you also don't know what opportunities they had that you didn't, etc. It's just not a reasonable comparison. It's a lot better to think about who you were and then to think, well, could you be somewhat better in some dimension? And the positive thing about that is the answer is almost always yes. Now, you can orient that transformation towards some stellar target, and that's a reasonable thing to do, but that doesn't exactly mean that you should compare yourself to that target. Aiming at something and comparing yourself to it are not exactly the same thing. Plus, your bloody comparison is also a delusion. You know, that's another thing that you have to understand, is that you look at the person you're jealous of, and really what you're doing is you're looking through a very narrow aperture at a very thin slice of their life. You're looking at the thin slice of their life that's turning out the best, but you're also looking at a thin slice of their life that's marketed to be the best, right? And you have no idea what the horror of that person's life might be in its totality. And you have no idea if the deal was, say you wanted to be Russell Brand. There's a good example. You wanted to be Russell Brand. You wanted to be as charismatic and as famous as he is. Well, your real wish is that you get to have everything Russell Brand has, but none of his problems. Well, come on. I mean, it's no wonder that a vision like that would make you despondent, because it's naive, it's resentful, it's jealous, it's bitter, and it's unreasonable. You have to take the good with the bad. You have to take the bad with the good. And people rarely think about that when they're thinking about, you know, the famous people they think they'd like to be. If you could have what you wanted in this moment, and I could deliver it, what would it be? How much of the mess that you see around you would vanish if the mess that you could put straight was put straight?
The question always is, why do something? Because doing nothing is easy. You just sit there and you don't do anything. That's real easy. The question is, why would you ever do anything? And the answer to that has to be because you've determined by some means that it's worthwhile. In many ways, that's what you should be doing at university. That's exactly what you should be doing, is trying to figure out who it is that you're trying to be, right? And you aim at that. And then you use everything you learn as a means of building that person that you want to be. And I really mean want to be. I don't mean should be, even those things are going to overlap.
You know perfectly well that if you put your mind to it and you make the proper sacrifices, there are things you can set straight.
What advice do you have for a young man in his 20s?
Make a plan. Look at what you're interested in. Get disciplined about something. Allow for the possibility that you have something important to contribute to the world, and that the world would be a lesser place without that contribution. Don't be afraid of taking on responsibility. It's where you find what sustains you in your life. You can take on too much responsibility. You have to be cautious in that regard, but that's a less common problem than not taking on enough. A lot of the things that people regard as traps are actually the means to their life.
And then the next question might be, well, where should you look for worthwhile things? And one would be, well, you could consult your own temperament. And the other would be, well, you kind of look at what it is that people accrue that's valuable across the lifespan. But the other way you do that is by having a little conversation with yourself about, as if you don't really know who you are, because you know what you're like. You won't do what you're told. You won't do what you tell yourself to do. You must have noticed that. It's like you're a bad employee and a worse boss, and both of those work, for you. You don't know what you want to do, and then when you tell yourself what to do, you don't do it anyways. You should fire yourself and find someone else to be. You have to understand that you're not your own servant, so to speak. You're someone that you have to negotiate with, and you're someone that you want to present the opportunity of having a good life to. And that's hard for people because they don't like themselves very much. So, they're always like cracking the whip and then procrastinating, and cracking the whip and then procrastinating. And it's like, God, it's so boring and such a pathetic way of spending your time. And you know what that's like because you probably waste like 6 hours a day. You have to believe that your action has some redemptive possibility, because why would you do it otherwise? And you might say, well, I kind of believe that. It's like, well, that's not good enough. You kind of got to throw yourself all into it. And what's the cost anyways? It's not like you're going to get out of this alive. So you're pretty much all in whether you want to be or not. And maybe if you were voluntarily all in, things would be a lot better than they are. If the world isn't everything that you want it to be, maybe you're not acting the way you should. One of the things people do to buttress themselves against failure is to never let themselves really gain clarity about what they need and want. Let's say you try something, but you only do it half-heartedly. And then you fail, and you think, well, I didn't really fail because, I held a bunch back in reserve, and so I didn't get what I wanted, but maybe had I been all in, I would have. And so you don't have to upbraid yourself too much for the failure. Now, it's a catastrophic way to live, to sit on the fence and to not commit, because instead of risking the possibility of failure, you engage in what's essentially the absolute certainty of failure. Because if you want something worthwhile and difficult, which you probably do if you want to have an adventure and go somewhere, then what's the chance you're going to get it if you're halfway in? You can't be halfway in, but that sort of protects you against failure, because you can tell yourself, well, if I tried, I could have done it. It's like, you tell yourself that 200 times and your life's over. Okay, so once you get your goal structure set up, you think, okay, if I could have this life, looks like that might be worth living, despite the fact that it's going to be, anxiety provoking and threatening, and there's going to be some suffering and loss involved and all of that, obviously. The goal is to have a vision for your life such that, all things considered, that justifies your effort. Okay, so then what do? Well, then you turn down to the micro routines. It's like, okay, well, this is what I'm aiming for. How does that instantiate itself day to day, week to week, month to month? And that's where something like a schedule can be unbelievably useful. Google Calendar. It's like, make a damn schedule and stick to it. Okay, so what's the rule with the schedule? It's not a bloody prison. That's the first thing that people do wrong. They say, well, I don't like to follow a schedule. It's like, well, what kind of schedule are you setting up? Well, I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, and then I just go play video games, because who wants to do all these things that I have to do? Set the damn schedule up so that you have the day you want. If I was going to set it up so it was the best possible day I could have, what would it look like?
Mediocrity is behind you. Success is in front of you.
We choose to go to the moon.
In the lonely chapter, you decide which way you will go.
Ignition. All engines are running.
We live in a world that demands more thought, more deep work. The lonely chapter can be defined oftentimes as a season where you go to war with yourself.
Tranquility base. The Eagle has landed. I'm descending the ladder. See the Earth. Entire planet Earth.
You decide which way you will go. And we are immersed in whirlpools of busyness, noise, and pleasure. And the question is, can a man cut off temporary pleasures for long-term purposes? The pain that you feel right now, this is the sign of success. It is the sign of a man or a woman, a boy, a girl, who is willing to make the necessary sacrifices to achieve their target. In order to get through the lonely chapter, he must embrace the lonely chapter. There comes a time in every man's life, a moment of clarity, where one realizes there is more. And in order for us to manifest more, we must become more. And this requires us to withdraw ourselves to certain moments and seasons and chapters at a time to find ourselves or to rediscover ourselves or to reinvent ourselves. When was the last time you sat alone with your thoughts in silence? You went for a walk, a bus ride, a train ride, a trip away, a climb in the mountains, a hike down a trail, to rediscover yourself, to find who is the real you. There are seasons in our lives that summon us to go deeper. The question is, can you detach yourself from every disempowering, limiting belief, from every lid, from every label, from every limitation, from everything you've made a crutch? Can you resist what has been irresistible? The false dopamine that you have so heavily relied on? Can you delete the app? Can you cancel the membership? Can you end the subscription? Can you step out of the toxic relationship? We want proximity. We want attention. We want availability. We want the presence of people who are draining us. Ask yourself this question. Are the people in your lives fountains or drains? Do they give to you or do they take from you? At this juncture, nothing else matters. I gotta disappear. I got work to do. There is a chapter that is on the horizon where you withdraw yourself from every distraction, all artificial significance and noise, and you find yourself. This is the place where every aspiration has a voice and every dream grows wings. Our dreams do not grow wings in the stillness of the night. Somewhere inside of you, there is a spark, an ember of possibilities that you could become the man or woman of your dreams. The person you desire to be, the person that you desire to see. Solitude is the corridor and the gateway to the future. It is the trail and path most avoid. When I get alone with myself, I get alone with my thoughts, I realize I've made solitude a monster masquerading in my life as a constant reminder that I am not enough when The truth is, solitude is a gift. Solitude is a bridge, a gateway, a path out of the simulation of artificial significance. It's amazing to me how we build these lives of simulations, these imitative representations of reality. We construct these lives of artificial significance, busyness, distraction, noise, emails, text messages, DMs, and a cloud of people that call themselves our friends, but are only with us when we are winning, and they don't even know who we really are. And the moment that we go through a losing season, they're gone. They will abandon us. When I can get alone with myself, I can step into identity. Most people don't have what it is that they desire because they really don't know what they want. They don't know what they need, and they don't know who they are. When I can get alone with myself and my thoughts, I can plan tomorrow today. I can journal, I can walk, I can work out, I can get in touch with my strengths and my weaknesses. I can identify where I'm winning, where I'm losing, where I need to improve, how I can step up. I can schedule my priorities, I can manage my energy, I can scrupulously investigate and evaluate where is my life and where will it be in the next 5 years. When people see me, what do I want them to think? How will I be remembered? What will I accomplish? What will I become? How can I get to this place that I've never been before? It is possible to do this when the chapter of being alone is no longer seen as lonely, but we see it as beauty, brilliance, wisdom. You know, sometimes being alone is about protecting your peace. It's about understanding that peace is like a crown jewel. It's finding that quiet space to find myself and begin to deconstruct and begin to unlearn some things and relearn some things. You got to get serious about your peace and your future. I've got to find what I've been called to do. I've got to discover my purpose, make that difference, make the connections, create something, build something, and then go back and help the people that were lost with me. And so that alone time is that time to reflect and recharge and to imagine bold, courageous, more intentional, more dialed in. Some of the strongest souls, innovators, pioneers, captains of industry, CEOs, entrepreneurs, game changers, city shifters, world changers have emerged out of suffering and solitude. As you step into this chapter alone, my question to you is, who will you be when you come out? And what will you give back to the world? Be terrified of dying until you have won some small victory for humanity.